Okay, welcome back. I just wanted to make sure this thing worked again, or still worked. It's been a while since I've put out a video. I thought I'd give you an update of what's going on. As I left you the last time, I was turning towards the cabinet itself, but I was also coming off a knee surgery, a meniscus repair or a meniscectomy, removed some of my meniscus. And as I alluded to in some of the previous videos, that I used to be an ultra runner years ago, and I ran quite a bit back in those days, and it's been a few years. It's been over 8 years since I've ran anything. So I've been trying to get past that surgery and get back into running some more. I've also been working on some rust repairs on the old 64 C10 truck, which I'll give you an update later about that in another video. I've got a lot of the floorboard cut out and I'm going back with it. Okay, as far as my running update, I've ran a 17.5 mile trail run. I placed in age group there. It's not surprising. I'm 63 years old. There's just not that many folks runs in my age group anymore. And I ran a 5K, and I placed in my age group there also. Now, but the big news is last Saturday, a week ago, Saturday, I ran my first marathon in over 8 years, and I ran it in 4 hours, 49 minutes, and some change, which was it was a finish. I felt really good during it. I didn't hurt per se as far as knees or joints or anything like that. Now, running a marathon, you do hurt a little bit, but it's all muscular. So that's where we're at. Some of this video that's coming up in this episode, I shot back several months ago, and some of this I've shot in the past week or so. So hopefully Thanksgiving's coming up this coming week. Maybe I can get some more time and finish. This video will not finish the basket case, but you're gonna see a big difference in it after this one. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and maybe I can put all this together. Welcome back, everybody. The last video just kept dragging on and on and on and on and on, and so I have to do this in 2 parts. So I fast forwarded. I've taken the clamps off, went ahead and glued this side, went ahead and trimmed the back side. The problem I had is putting a clamp across the seam. I couldn't see the seam, and so I've ended up with a gap here. It must have slid during the clamping process. That's something we've got to avoid in the future, if at all possible. It's not that big a gap. I think you can see it on camera. We'll end up having to just address that. Now the other side, we fitted this up, and I'm going to glue this on. Also, in the earlier video, showed that I had made a boo-boo on this, and it's still a little bit uneven, but I'm going to dress it up with a little sandpaper, and I think we'll be able to do something with that. But big thing is getting this glued in place and addressing this gap, and we'll do that more after we sand this down and everything. Right here we had a buckle, a ridge. The veneer was uneven, and as you do with any repairs or even with a new veneer, if it's buckled, you split it, you put glue, you inject glue in and clamp it down and get the wave out of it. Here's a tip that I'm going to use for filling this. I'm going to go ahead, I know I've got to sand this veneer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand it and collect some of the sawdust from the veneer onto my wax paper, and then I will insert glue in the crack and then put the shavings in there to help match it up. Excuse the noise, I've got the air conditioner going down here. I cleaned out the seam from all the excess glue, and then I reinserted glue. And then I took the sandings from where I did some of the veneer, and then I put it on the exterior surface of it, allowing the glue to dry, and then we'll sand that back off with real fine sandpaper, and we'll see what it looks like. I've got the veneer on and glued. I've been working, experimenting a little bit with some stain, seeing if I can eliminate this mark and also darken these lines up a little bit. I'll do a little bit more here. The seams didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted to, but I think I can dress it up to where it'll come up. I'd still need another sanding or two on this because this was raw veneer. It was new veneer. One of the things, and you can get into a big argument discussion on, is sanding sealer, and you'll have people tell you, well, lacquer is a good sanding sealer. You buy a sanding sealer, lacquer, not lacquer, but varnish. I mean, you can get into it. I mean, you really can. When you restore an older radio, I have found, now this is Larry's opinion, the world according to Larry, and I can be wrong, believe it or not. Most of the time I am. But the older radios, let's go to a new piece of veneer. What happens to the veneer is when you sand it, there's little microfibers of the wood itself sticking up like small hairs. Now you can't see it, but if you were to just shoot lacquer over the top of this, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rougher. Okay. So what a sealer does, and that's where the argument comes in, is what to use. But pretty much what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to spray it on the finish or on the wood, and the little microscopic fibers are sticking up, and then you sand it again and break those off or sand those off to where you've got a smoother surface, and you've got you're basically shearing it off, or like shaving your face or your back, one of the two. And you're shaving it off so that those fibers don't stick up and cause you problems when you put your finish down, and it makes it for a smoother finish. Now the older radios that you're refinishing, unless you go down into the bare wood, and I mean get down really deep, you're not going to have to seal it anymore. That's what I have found. And so I try to make it simple for me, and I am not a professional at this by no means, but I have tried to get answers, and I've looked at YouTube videos, and I've Googled it and everything, and I've gotten 20 different ideas on how to do it. So this is how I've done it in the past, and it seems to work okay for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to lunch, and then I'm going to come back, sand this, clean this, and then put some stain on it. I've sanded that with some 320 sandpaper, wiped it down with a good clean cloth. Now I'm going to put some stain on it, and then wipe it off after just a few minutes, and then we'll look at it and see how it looks. This is gun stock. Hey, when you're sanding, that's something I forgot to told you. When you're sanding, you need to sand with the grain. Don't go against the grain. Okay, so that's just a tip there. So let's put this on, let it set for a few minutes, and then we'll see what it looks like. Here I put some stain on this, and as you can see, it's really brought the wood out. Now I'm going to wipe this down and let you see what it looks like. We may have to go back with another coat if it's not dark enough. Okay, I wiped the stain off. As you can see, we still have some blemishes that we're going to have to correct a little later, but let's let this dry. I may go ahead and put a coat on this one right here on the very front. There's a coat of stain on the front of it, along with the side. So we'll let this set a few minutes and then we'll wipe it off. Put the stain on it, and I also took a little bit of dark lacquer and a brush and brushed into the excess or the accent marks, I guess that's what you call them, and touched up the window area there. Here's the side. I still have some more work on the seams that I'll have to address, but this one was probably one of the worst ones, but we'll see if we can't get that straightened out. Okay, I've got that zoomed in on this seam. I'm going to try to work on a little bit. Maybe I can, I don't know, a little bit of glare going there. Yeah, it might be a little better. I always start with I get these markers, and I've got some wax crayons in here also, and I always start with the lightest and color it, because you can always go darker. This one's about dried up, I think, so it takes a little bit of it off, and then we'll go with one a little bit darker and see what it looks like. And once I do this, I'll wipe some excess of it off. Now, you're not going to cover it all up, but you just don't want it to be totally white, and you'll want to break up the pattern a little bit, and kind of make it look like a little bit of grain and what have you. Now, I don't want anybody to get the impression that I want this to look like a brand new radio, because it's not, and I don't want it. I want it to look 80 something years old, but with a little, just, you know, make it look halfway decent. But it's supposed to have a little bit of patina. It's supposed to have a little bit of age to it, a few knocks and dings here and there, and so that's what we want to do. And go over that. Maybe we'll do that one also right there, and then we'll just wipe off some of the excess, kind of blend it in. Let's see. It's not looking too bad. It's not going to be perfect, but as you can see. And we've also got some of these fill sticks, which we can, some of the cracks or what have you, larger, just kind of put it into there and cover it up. Rub it with your finger. Work with it. There's not a real good set way, I can't tell you. It's almost like painting or something. You got to use your eye and your judgment to see how it's going to look for you. And I'll go through here like that, and got a whole assortment of things here that I can use. some more different colored crayons, wax, her fillers, and just play with it and fill in all the little nooks and crannies and blend it in. I've masked this off, and what I'm going to do is do maybe a deep mahogany to cover up a lot of blemishes in this edge here, and also make it a little bit darker against the rest of the radio. You see, I hit this with the deep red mahogany to highlight the edge itself, and then I did the rest of the cabinet in toner, a cherry color. There's some imperfections in the veneer, but I think you'll agree it's a little bit better. Now, I have not hit it with any finish lacquer yet, which I'm going to let this cure for a little bit, and then we'll see how that works out for us. Okay, so what do we have left? If you'll remember, we need to replace this dial, which I have a replacement. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit larger, but I think that'll be real nice when that happens. And we're going to have to put this grill cloth back in there, which is in very good shape. I put it into the radio and looked at it. It's a little bit dirty, but it's still fairly nice. And like I say, the radio's not new, not going to be new, and so I think we're going to go back with that. So in the next series, we're going to put all this stuff together and give it its final test, and hopefully tie the ribbon on it just before Christmas, and we'll finish up the basket case. I appreciate you guys bearing with me through this long summer, and hopefully during the winter I can turn out a few more videos. I got plenty more radios that I can work on. So, from Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.